And for more on the terror news of Nigeria's partnership with the BRICS nation, policy analyst Chris Kyiv joins me from Delta State. It's good to have you join us on the World Now. Chris Kyiv will be joining us as soon as we have him. Let's give our attention. All right, I understand that we have Chris back with us. Good to have you join us on the World Now. Mr. Kyiv, can you hear me? Well, I'm hoping you can hear me. Let's talk about the membership in BRICS and how it could provide Nigeria with access to new markets and also technologies in that sense. There are concerns about increased competition and potential losses. But would you consider this a progress or a drawback for Nigeria? Well, we'll be joining Chris Kyiv as soon as we have him. Now, let's give attention to the war between Russia and Ukraine. Local officials say 4 people have been killed in a Russian airstrike on Kyiv overnight. After an air raid ended, another was activated shortly after. The government is warning of a ballistic missile threat and urging residents to head for shelter. We have details in this report.
The mayor of Kyiv, Vitaly Klitschko, says exactly what the Russian attack was targeting is not clear, but windows were shattered in the central Shevchenkivsky district, including a metro station, and fire broke out in a non-residential building. According to the mayor, air defenses were in operation around the Ukrainian capital. It is the second fatal attack on Kyiv this month, following a strike on the city on New Year's Day, which left 2 people dead. Meanwhile, local authorities say 6 people were wounded in a Russian strike in the southern city of Zaporizhia today. 1 woman is said to be in a serious condition. The strike on Kyiv follows several Ukrainian attacks on Russian territory earlier in the week. On Tuesday, ammunition depots and chemical plants were hit across multiple regions of Russia, some of which were hundreds of kilometers from the border. That's according to the General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces. In reaction, Russia alleged it shut down US-supplied long-range Atacam missiles as well as UK-made Storm Shadow cruise missiles launched by Ukraine. These exchanges are the latest strikes from both sides in the war that began following Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022.
And moving on, a Russian court has found 3 lawyers for Alexei Navalny, the Kremlin critic who died last year in an Arctic prison, have been found guilty of belonging to an extremist group and jailed for several years. The lawyers were tried behind a closed door in Petushki, east of Moscow, and sentenced to 3.5, 5 and 5.5 years in prison. Prosecutors accused the lawyers of using their status to pass letters written by Alexei Navalny during his time in prison to his associate and allowing him to continue to head an extremist organization despite his death. Alexei died suddenly in February last year while serving a 19-year sentence on extremism charges he denied. The Russian prison service said Navalny had felt unwell after a walk and died thereafter. The Russian government has denied involvement in his death, but many Western countries and Navalny's allies pin the blame on Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, human rights groups say the sentencing of Navalny's associates shows that Kremlin is continuing to crack down on opposition to President Putin's rule and his war in Ukraine.